Hello everyone. This is section 7.1, which is about square root property, and we will be going over a few problems related to this square root property. All right, so let's start with the square root property, which is, let's say if we have m square is equals to a, then let's say if you're trying to solve for m, then when you take the square root on both sides, on left hand side we'll just get m, and on right hand side we'll get square root of a, right? When you take the square root on both sides. But when you take the square root on both sides, we need to consider the plus minus case. So we're going to get plus minus here. So m is equals to plus minus square root of a. All right, so that means, let's say if we are trying to solve x square is equals to 9. So we're trying to solve for x. All right, so when you're trying to solve for x, just like this one, this is the square root property. So the x is going to be plus minus square root of 9, right? So this way we will get x is equals to plus minus square root of 3. Sorry, just 3, plus minus 3. So this way from here, now we get two values. X is equals to positive 3, and other one, x is equals to negative 3. All right. Similarly, let's solve 2x square is equals to 50. So on this one, well, to use this square root property, well, we just need square on one side, just square terms on one side, and everything else on another side. So here we have square here, x squared, but still we have this 2, right? So we need to get rid of this 2. So that's why I need to divide both sides by 2. So then we get on left hand side x squared is equals to 25, and x is equals to plus minus square root of 25, right? So x is equals to plus minus 5. So here, well, you can leave your answer like this, or if you want to write, you can write x is equals to plus 5 and x is equals to minus 5. All right, now the next one. Let's see if we need to solve x plus 3 square. All right, so again, this is a square. The whole thing is a square. So we're taking the square of x plus 3. All right, so this whole thing is square is equals to 16. All right, now again, we're trying to solve for x, or we need to find the value of x. Let me write it here one more time. Solve. All right, so whenever you see solve, you need to find the value of x, right? So now, just like we did here, if we have square term on one side and a number on another side, then we can get rid of the square. So whatever is there inside the square, so in this case, our m here is going to be this whole thing that is inside the square, right? So just x plus 3 is equals to plus minus, using this idea, plus minus square root of 16, right? So now from here, x plus 3 is equals to plus minus 4. All right, so now since we have plus and minus and we're trying to find the value of x, so now in this condition, well, in this case, we're going to get two conditions. So the first one is x plus 3 is equals to positive 4. And another one is x plus 3 is equals to negative 4, right? So then we will get from here, when you subtract 3 on both sides, x is equals to positive 1. When you subtract 3 on both sides, x is equals to negative 7. All right, so this way, in this case, we get two answers. Yeah, just like we got here. Okay, so the next one, let's do this problem. x squared minus 6x plus 13 is equals to 0. And we need to find the value of x. And we know this is a quadratic equation, so whatever we have done so far is basically we can solve this by AC method, right? A times C method. So we need to find the factors of 13, right? Because 13 times 1 is 13. But the factors of 13 is just 13 and 1. So I don't think we can use 13 and 1 and change this negative 6x, right? So in this case, we need to follow this square root property, this topic. All right, so the idea here we're going to do is, so the square root property, we know that to solve the square root property, or to solve this by square root property, we need to change one side to a square form and another side just a number, right? So if we get this condition, then we can follow this process. So we need to do, we need to get the one side just a square and another side just a number, right? So what we can do here is, well, we know this number, right? So let's just move that number to other side. So that way we'll get negative x squared minus 6x is equals to 13, right? All right, so now we need a square form on one side, right? So, well, we know that this is a formula we have done. If we can change any terms, let's say ax squared minus 2ab plus b squared, then we can say that this is the square of a plus b, right? So we have done this. We know this is a formula. So what we can do with these two terms is, well, to get this thing, we needed three terms and this one, right? A squared minus 2ab plus b squared. So what we can do with this one is, well, the first one we have x squared, so now we can assume this just x as a. All right, so let's just write that here again, x squared minus, so negative 6x, well, we already have negative number here, right? So 6x, now we can change this to, we need a 2, so instead of saying 6x, we can say 2, because we need 2, right? 2 times a, we said that a is x. So since we have 6x here, we got 2x here, so basically these two must be same, so we are missing 3, right? So 3 times x times 2 is the 6x. And also we got ax squared minus 2a. So we have 3 here, so now we can say this is b, right? So if we get b here, then let's just write the value of b squared, because we need a b squared, right? So 3 squared. All right, and then since we add a extra term from this, right? Because we don't have this 3 squared here, so we add an extra term here. So if you do that, we need to do the same thing. Oh, sorry, here it has to be negative, right? Because when you move this to other side, it has to be negative. So negative 13. So if we add this extra here, then we got to do the same thing another side to balance this equation. Basically, these two cancels, right? But we don't want to cancel because we are trying to change this to a square form. So once we get, now when we compare these two, once we get x squared minus 2ab plus b squared, right? When we get this in this form, then we can say this must be minus, I'm sorry, this is a minus. A squared minus 2ab plus b squared is equals to a minus b whole square, and a squared plus 2ab plus b squared is, now if there is a plus here, then this is a plus b whole square. All right, so since we have a minus now, this is going to be a minus b whole square. So we have a is x minus b is 3 and whole square is equals to negative 13 plus 3 square, and this is also, well, 3 square is 9. So negative 13 plus 9 is negative 4, right? So x square minus 2 whole square is negative 4. All right, so once we get this, from here, now when we apply this square root property, if you have a square on one side, a square term on one side, and a number on another side, then we can say, just without square. Now from here, we can say, or let me just write here, x minus 2 is equals to plus minus, right? Plus minus, and the square root of a number. So the number we have here is negative 4, right? So then, now, since we have a square root of a negative 4, right? So I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but square root of negative 1 is I. We said that, right? Square root of negative 1 is I. All right, so then this one we can change. Square root of negative 4 is negative 1 times 4, which is also square root of negative 1 times square root of 4. So square root of negative 1 is I, and square root of 4 is 2. So 2i, right? So that means from here we can say x minus 2 is equals to, still have this plus minus, and the square root of negative 4 is 2i, right? So now from here we can get two answers, right? So basically we can add 2 on both sides. So then we get x is equals to 2, this 2, and plus minus 2i. All right, so you can leave your answer like this, or you can just give two answers, which is 2 plus 2i or 2 minus 2i, but it's okay to leave your answer here. All right, so yeah, this is 6 and 7.1, and that's it. Thank you.